The Los Angeles Rams have rebounded, and honestly, they look like a pretty nice football team. The Los Angeles Rams have truly bounced back from last season. They look like a completely different football team, and honestly, they've been looking great recently, and I'm here to break it down. There have been some huge surprises with this Rams team: Puka Nacua, Kyren Williams. I'm here to talk about all that on today's video. But before I get into it, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. It's very much appreciated. And let me know how you guys feel about the Rams going into the playoffs. Do you think they're going to go ahead and upset a team in the wild card round? And let's get straight into the video. The Los Angeles Rams started off 3-6. It was not looking good whatsoever, and it did not look like they were going to go ahead and make the NFL playoffs, but they had some things going for them. Of course, wins were not going for them, as you can see with them only having 3, but Puka Nacua and Kyren Williams were balling out. Puka Nacua was a 5th round rookie drafted out of BYU, and not a lot of people paid attention to him, and this man is an all-around baller. Absolutely sensational. This man has 101 receptions, 1,445 yards, and 5 touchdowns. As I'm recording this video, he's been balling out for the Rams, and honestly, Cooper KUpp has kind of fallen off recently. I'm not gonna lie, he has really fallen off from that Triple Crown season, and honestly, Puka Nacua might be the wide receiver one going into future years in LA, because man, this man is all around sensational, super underrated going into the draft. And it's crazy because, you know, he was waiver wire pickup of the year. This man is all around insane. And also we have Kyren Williams. A lot of people did not expect this man to be as good as he is right now in the league. I expected Cam Akers to eventually get benched because honestly he wasn't that good last year, and I knew this year he wasn't going to be that good. And Kyren Williams kind of took over in that first game, and then after that he never slowed down. He just kept balling out over and over again. Kyren Williams has 1,144 yards and 12 touchdowns, and this man, like I said, he's an all-around baller. He missed 4 games, by the way, and he's 2nd in rushing yards. That's honestly just insane. He gets Christian McCaffrey usage, which is all around just insane. And he made the Pro Bowl this year, which is honestly well deserved. Sean McVay honestly really knows what he's doing with this man right here. Insane thing from Kyren and Puka. They are some key players on this Ram offense, and it's helping them do so well. Matthew Stafford honestly was not off to a great year, and then after the bye week, and then after another injury, and then after a game versus Seattle, he really started to settle in this Ram offense, and ever since then he's been playing pretty well, I'm not gonna lie. In a game at Arizona after that Seattle game, he would have 229 yards and 4 passing touchdowns, balled out, and then he would play an elite Cleveland defense who has been playing out of their mind this year. He had 279 yards and 3 touchdowns, went ahead and killed them, and their only loss coming out of the bye week would be to the Baltimore Ravens, and they went into overtime with them, and Matthew Stafford made some plays in this game with 294 yards and 3 touchdowns. Of course, this game would end with a Wallace punt return to go ahead and win the game in overtime, but honestly, keeping it close with the best team in the NFL is a pretty good thing to see. And then versus Washington, he had 258 yards and 2 touchdowns. Game versus the Saints on Thursday night, he had 328 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. And then in his most recent game, he did throw 2 interceptions versus the Giants, but he also had 317 yards and 1 touchdown, and he still made some pretty good plays in that game. And some people like putting him in the MVP conversation and saying he should get some votes, which in my opinion, that's a little bit crazy now, that's stretching it. But with the bad quarterback play this year, just all around not having a super talented and super elite stacked QBs this year, like we usually do, like last year when Mahomes had 5,000 yards. I mean, Matthew Stafford's been having a pretty good season up to this year's standards. I also think Stafford should get some votes for comeback player of the year, because let's be honest guys, coming back from a spinal injury that he suffered last year and playing like this, that is such a great thing to see, that he's able to go ahead and ball out after suffering a spinal injury. I don't think he'll win the award. I think Joe Flacco's gonna go ahead and take that home, but I definitely think he should get some votes for it. Also got to give some credit to Sean McVay. He's one of the best head coaches in the NFL, being at such a young age. He's really doing some great things for this Rams team. Also, I got to give some credit to the Rams GM. This team was dead in the water last year. They did not look good whatsoever. You can blame that on the injuries that they had last year, because man, they had an absolute ton. They had a lot of questions going into this year too, especially at the quarterback position with Matthew Stafford, which they do after that spinal injury. Also, they sold their whole drafting system for that whole Super Bowl. Like, they sold all the first round picks they had. They were going all in, and they got that Super Bowl. But back to what the Rams have been doing this year. In the NFL playoff picture, they're currently the 6th seed on the NFC side, and this is where things start to get interesting. The Rams announced that Matthew Stafford will not be starting on Sunday versus the 49ers, and it will be Carson Wentz ball versus the 49ers, which honestly, that is something I did not expect to see this year, but this season's been wild. You can't expect anything anymore. But here's another interesting thing about that game. Christian McCaffrey isn't playing. The 49ers are locked up in the 1 seed. Sam Darnold's actually going to start at quarterback, not Brock Purdy, so this might might be a little bit of a battle of backups. Puka Nacua, I feel like he's gonna play. He wants to go ahead and break that record, I would assume. But yeah, this game's gonna be pretty interesting. If the Rams were to win this game, they would be locked in at that 6th spot, and that would be great for them in my opinion, for a reason that I'm about to just say in a second. But if the Rams were to go ahead and lose that game and the Packers were to win, I'm pretty certain they can drop all the way down to a 7th seed. And then if Dallas were to win, which in my opinion I think they're gonna beat the Commanders and win the division, they would have to play Dallas. Now if they play Dallas, I don't know about the Rams winning in the first round. That's pretty tough, I'm not gonna lie. I know Dallas cooked them earlier in the year, but I don't know. I feel like them playing Dallas again, it probably wouldn't go too well again. But if they stay the 6th seed and they have to go ahead and play the Detroit Lions in Detroit, I can just tell you right now, I would have the Rams winning. Not because Detroit's a bad team or anything, just Matthew Stafford playing in Detroit in a playoff game would be honestly wild. The storylines in this game would go all around crazy, and honestly, I could see Stafford balling out versus former team, throwing like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the Rams going ahead and winning that game. I would not be surprised whatsoever. In my opinion, I want to see that game. I feel like it'd be a great game. I don't want to see them play Dallas. I want to see them play the Lions, and I want to see that shootout because I just got a feeling that game would be great. So in my opinion, if the Rams do want to win a playoff game this year, their best bet is being a 6th seed, but Carson Wentz is going to really have to determine that on Sunday. Yeah, as of right now, the Rams would probably not be a team that I would want to go ahead and play in the first round. They just got upset material to them for some reason. I would not be surprised whatsoever if they won a wild card game this year. They got some dark horse potential for sure to go ahead and upset a team. Would not be surprised whatsoever. And another thing that I've been wondering about this Ram team is just the future of the team in my opinion, because Sean McVay has always been talking about retiring. There's some rumors always coming out, but honestly I don't think that's going to happen. But my real question is, what's going to happen with the future of Matthew Stafford? He's 35 years old. I'm not saying that he's not going to be playing quarterback in 2 years, but listen to this. He's already suffered a spinal injuries. He had some major injuries in his career, and honestly I don't know how much longer he can go for. And I feel like that's something the Rams need to look into eventually, because I'm not going to lie, Stafford is tough. He may be able to play till he's 45 at this rate, but like there's also a point where the Rams got to go ahead and think about that. Who's going to be the quarterback of the future? I doubt that they'll draft a quarterback in this year's draft, even though there's a ton of talented guys. I do not think it will happen. It's just something interesting to think about, that what are they going to do after Matthew Stafford's time is up in LA? Because they got a great team. They got some great offensive weapons. Kyren Williams, Puka Nacua, Cooper KUpp, depending on how much more he got left in the tank. But it's just something really to think about. Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comments. What do you think the Rams are going to do? How much longer do you think Stafford has left in the tank? But yeah, the Los Angeles Rams have truly bounced back. I made a video on them last year. It was my first ever YouTube video, and I didn't know what to say about them because they went through a whole bunch of injuries. I didn't know if Matthew Stafford was going to play again. I thought Baker Mayfield had potential to be the QB1 this year, but Matthew Stafford came back from the spinal injury and he's really proven me wrong, I'm not gonna lie. Puka Nacua and Kyren Williams, I did not expect to see that play from them this season whatsoever. I gotta respect them. Definitely will be drafting them in fantasy football next year for sure. But yeah, guys, let me know your guys' thoughts on the video, the thoughts on the Rams in general, and do you guys think the Rams are going to go ahead and upset a team in the first round? And yeah, that's the video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. It's very much appreciated. Watch this video right here about Joe Flacco. I think he's going to win Comeback Player of the Year. He's done some great things in Cleveland. And I will see you guys in the next video.